public hearing is now called to order at 6 p.m. on January 15, 2025. This hearing is being held as required by the provisions of Chapter 131, Section 40 of the General Laws of the Commonwealth and Act relative to the protection of the wetlands, as most recently amended. Notice the time and place of this hearing was published in the Fairhaven Neighborhood News on January 9th, 2025. It was also posted in the town clerk's office. Persons wishing to be heard will be called in the following order. This meeting is being audio and video recorded. First order of business, no minutes for approval. Meeting mail. Letter received from Eversource regarding underground electric distribution line installation work located on either side of approximately 700-foot-long segment of Hathaway Road. Review and matters presented. Votes may be taken. I think I read through this. I don't know if you guys got this. Essentially, it just says that they are exempt.
Where are they digging?
Right? Am I right? Yeah, it's pretty much it's exempt work within their right away. So
going across the street?
So we'll keep that on file. Old business. Continue public hearing, notice of intent, Lake Street, New Bedford Reservoir, Lakes 1, 2, and 4, Map 3, Lot 13, Map 4, Lot 49, Map 19, Lot 32, SC file number 0010595. A notice of intent was filed by James Kelly, town of Acushnet, for the property located at New Bedford Reservoir, Lakes 1, 2, and 4. The applicant proposes the removal at the root of invasive weeds from areas of the New Bedford Reservoir, Lakes 1, 2, and 4, located in Acushnet using an eco-harvester. The applicant is represented by Scott Daggett, Lake Street Improvement Committee. This meeting has been continued to January 29th, 2025. Review of matters presented, votes may be taken. I'll entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I'll entertain a motion to continue this until January 29th, 2025, per the request of Scott Daggett.
Motion to continue.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
That's continued till January 29th. I should probably open and continue the next one as well, right?
Sure.
Yeah, I agree. Continue public hearing, notice of intent and stormwater for White's Farm, 211 Middle Road, map 23, lots 29, 29A, 29B, SE file number 0010596. Notice of intent and stormwater application was filed by Zachary Parks, Middle Road, Acushnet Solar LLC, for property located at 211 Middle Road, map 23, lots 29, 29A, and 29B. The applicant proposes to construct a ground-mounted solar array on a portion of the open fields within the property located at 211 Middle Road in Acushnet. Work is limited to the 100-foot buffer zone to a bordering vegetated wetland and bank. The applicant is represented by Sarah Stearns, Beals and Thomas. Plan name is Middle Road PV Solar Development, dated September 10th, 2024. Again, this meeting has been continued to, this is a different meeting, to the February 12th, 2025 meeting. Review of matters presented, votes to be taken. I'll entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
Motion to open.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I'll entertain a motion to continue this public hearing until the February 12th, 2025 meeting.
Motion to continue.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. That's continued to the February 12th meeting. Okay, continued public hearing, notice of intent, Deep Brook Estates LLC, Park Drive and Deep Brook Drive, map 17 and 18, lots 66, 68, 70, 73, 74, 75, 77, 79, 80, 81, 83, 84, and lots 18, 18G, 12S, and 12R, SE file number 0010598. A notice of intent was filed by Deep Brook Estates LLC for property located at Park Drive and Deep Brook Drive, Acushnet, Mass. Deep Brook Estates. The applicant proposes to finish construction on 2 subdivision roadways and drainage for the development of a 15-lot single-family residential subdivision within the 100-foot buffer zone to a bordering vegetated wetland due to an expired order of conditions. The applicant is represented by Jamie Bissonette, Zenith Consulting Engineers, LLC. Plan name is Deep Brook Estates. The definitive subdivision plan off Park Drive, Acushnet, Mass. Dated October 24th, 2017. Review of matters presented, votes may be taken. I'll entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
Motion to open.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. How you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Bob Forbes from Zenith Consulting Engineers, and I'm here with Joe Costello, who is the applicant. So, as people on the board may know, the permit that they were working with was an active permit for years, and it expired. It expired in November of '23. And so we filed the notice of intent to reactivate the permit in, I believe, October of this year. Then in November of this year, the governor signed a Permit Extension Act extending and reactivating permits that were active in either 2023 or 2024, essentially. So the permit, what we've submitted, I don't believe the commission needs to act on. We've got an extension for that permit. And we wanted to talk to you about two things. Number one, how do we move forward on that? And number two, also for the stormwater permit that they were issued, that the commission issued them, there's an issue about the bond that's going to be required for the maintenance of the basins. So what they'd like to do, so what this Permanent Extension Act does, it extends 2 years from the date that it expired. So in other words, they're active until they're going to be they're reactivated essentially until November of this coming fall. And in order to get the work done in that time frame, they need to get going. So we're not exactly sure if you guys have received any guidance on how we go about moving forward at this time. Joe would like to get the contractor moving soon to start doing work. And we're not exactly clear on how to go about doing that. If we just, I don't know if we just go out there and start working or what. I think, from what I understand from other boards, the state has said they're going to issue some guidance to you.
I talked to Whitney McLeese at DEP, and the last time I talked to her, they didn't have any guidance. But based on my conversation with town council tonight, I'm gonna go ahead and say that everybody's under the assumption that this took effect immediately.
Okay.
So with my conversation with Whitney McLeese, I asked about this situation, and she said it was under the Wetland Protection Act. I forget, it's like section 88-3. You can't have two notice of intents, essentially, you know?
Right.
So I guess basically what she recommended was that you have to request to withdraw this.
For this, so,
Yes.
yeah, we weren't sure if we needed to do that, and we were almost hesitant to do it in case they required some type of filing that we've already done. Like, so what we didn't want to do is withdraw, but with...
At this time, you have an active order
Okay.
of conditions, and you can't have two.
Okay, okay, so yeah, I think that's the way we'd like to go, as long as, is it okay if we continue to discuss the bond issue, even if we go?
Yeah, that's
withdrawing
an
it?
issue that needs to be resolved. I mean,
Okay.
I that's beyond our purview, really, you know.
Right. Do I need to do that in writing? Do I need to send a letter to withdraw, or can we just ask you now to?
I would send a letter, but we can, I mean, we can either continue this if you guys really want to come back, or we could make a motion contingent on receipt of the letter, correct?
Sounds good.
Okay. So,
Is that okay with you?
you guys
That-
got it?
That was however you guys wanted to handle it.
I received the email from Joe about the bond issue, and I'm sure the town, or she can look in, somebody in town can look into it, and then also, I know, I could probably direct them to some people that have gotten bonds for their stormwater basins too. I
Okay.
can get that information.
We can get one to construct it, they're just not willing to give a maintenance bond until the basins are constructed. So that's, we're kind of in a,
which kind of makes
Strange
sense.
You
situation.
know how much goes?
Because I want to say most of the bonds that were issued to the town were at the, I don't know if they were at the completion of the project.
No, they were, no, because look at, Coffee? Yeah.
Yeah.
That was prior.
I don't know if that, I think
Yeah, that was-
I think they're in the same boat as them with
Right.
with their bond. I don't think they have a bond on that again.
Because I don't either.
Right.
So we wouldn't do that through this board, is what you're saying?
Well, it is through us along with the permit, but we don't physically deal with the bonds. It's through the collector's office or
Yeah.
treasurer.
Yeah.
We were just hoping that the town, or whoever would deal with it in the town, would entertain the possibility of us completing the basins and then getting because that's what we're being told by the insurance companies, so, is the way that they would consider doing it.
I mean, the time that I've spent speaking with Mr. Costello this week, trying to help him the best I can, I know we don't have the operation and maintenance plan filed, and the past conservation agent, when we took stormwater over, said I had to file that, but I wasn't able to file it until we had the surety in place. So that guidance is gone now.
Right.
So I don't know who else to get answers from. I mean, Mark's gonna try to research some of it too.
Hi, Peter.
Hey,
So I started poking around a little bit as well. Again, I'm happy to try to do a little research, talk to the town. The issue, independent of this project, came up earlier today in a meeting, so I got a little input there, but I can reach, I know this is urgent, so I can try to help you out.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, it's,
I don't know it is kind of a conundrum that you got.
yeah, it's an odd thing, we're not fighting it. You know, we're just, we can't do what we're
A
being
little
asked to
stymied.
do.
Would
Yeah.
that be something the DEP could give advise us for?
It's not a,
It's, I've
Has
never.
nothing to do with the DP.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah, it's through the town.
But it's, oh.
yeah.
It's for a basin
So what, it's not state
maintenance.
law, it's only bylaw?
It's a,
Yeah, it's town bylaw.
as far as I know, it's only this town. I've been doing this for 36 years, and I had to have this whole thing explained to me today before I did the meeting, so it's only an Acushnet thing.
It wasn't in the bylaw, then?
Jen, yeah.
It's definitely not in any state bylaw.
No, it's in our town bylaw.
Yeah, it's a town.
Yeah.
But that question isn't answered through the bylaw, I'm saying?
She's got
No.
to it too.
All right, so we'll work on that for you,
Okay, great.
getting you better answers
Appreciate
to
it.
that. Expedited, I understand that. And so for this item, I guess I'll entertain a motion to accept the withdrawal of the notice of intent, SE file number 0010598, contingent on a letter submitted to the commission requesting withdrawal.
I'll make that motion to withdraw.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, so that's all set, and we'll work on the other stuff for you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'll try to get some answers for you too.
You're all done tonight.
No, I know,
Oh, you're all done, you're all done.
I know.
Yeah,
No, but
let everyone know you're all
I
done.
know.
Don't be saying you're gonna be
I know.
working for the commission when you're not.
No, I'm not working for the commission, but I'm saying like people in town that I know that have had basins installed at their house, I can say, hey, give Joe Costello a call, give him information.
I did provide him with a copy of one of the other ones, Hayden back there.
Yeah,
I did give him a copy, I whited out everything, of course.
Right.
I sent it to Mr. Costello, and he's kind of got some answers, like
yeah,
from different.
and so I would say either, I don't know if you know Mark Francois, you could talk to him, he put in a basin, and Rob Roderick's over there.
That's the one I sent to him.
Yeah,
Yeah, I did speak to Mark, and he said because his was a private road,
yeah,
slightly different than this one becoming a public road.
okay,
And I think this is maybe one of the only ones that at the moment, going through this at the moment. So I even checked with, it was Philadelphia, and we checked with 4 or 5 other surety companies, and they all said when the project's complete, then we can give you a maintenance bond. We can't give you a maintenance bond on something that's not done yet.
right.
That's all. And I bet you this is just something we just didn't kind of envision the steps needed when this was put in place.
Right. Then I don't think we haven't had any other
Oh, well,
basins in this situation like that. Right.
I was still learning.
Well, maybe the commission can, we can work something out with the commission in the future.
Thank you, appreciate that.
Have a good evening, guys.
Thank you very much.
Good night, thank you.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Next order of business, continued extension of order of conditions. Eric DeBarros, Hathaway Road, map 14, lot 4C, SC file number 001-0570. A request for an extension to an existing order of conditions was filed for SC file number 001-0570 for property located at Hathaway Road, map 14, lot 4C. The applicant proposes to construct a single-family dwelling, septic system, and 12-foot wide gravel driveway, along with 50-foot by 80-foot barn garage southerly from the dwelling within the 100-foot buffer zone to a bordering vegetated wetland. The applicant is represented by Dave DeVignan of Schneider DeVignan Leone. Plan name is Sewage Disposal System Site Plan for Hathaway Road, dated November 18, 2021, revised December 10, 2021. Review matters presented, votes may be taken.
Excuse myself, please.
Okay, Eric is recusing himself.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? So, after
Just state your name, Eric, just to go through the, yeah. Just go through the tape.
21 Elaine Way, I guess I'll use my regular address. So, after doing some research and talking
I am
to
so sorry, guys.
some people with more knowledge than mine, it was advised that I continued and asked for the extension. So I'm gonna ask for the 3-year extension. But now with that whole 2 NOIs and the extension, did that come into play at all?
What is that?
So it wouldn't be considered a new NOI, right? It was just like you can ask
No,
for an extension?
your permit is extended for 2 years based on the Permit Extension Act.
I was advised to continue and ask for the 3-year extension.
I'd like to say something on that, Chairman. So, a lot of times we sit here, and I know I'm not the only one on this member, that says if someone had 3 years and they're looking for another 3, how do you make them accelerate? Take a year off. I think 2 years is what we should extend you for and let you do some work. Within the 3 years that you've owned the property, not a lot was done. And I just feel going forward, there should be a little bit of an acceleration to it. And with an acceleration, that's why I say I'm making a motion that Eric gets a 2-year extension.
I'll second that motion.
All right, there's a motion and a second. So,
Can we just think about this for a second? So he's automatically gonna get a 2-year, and you don't have to go to the registry of deeds to do that. So, you come back at the end of the expiration and not pay anything for recording right now, so that's just
I
an
don't really
option.
get, like, the amount of money that I've already gone through trying to deal with this whole
I'm just trying to
situation,
tell you that.
$150 isn't gonna bother me.
I'm just trying to say that.
So the reason being is just, I got advice from higher that I should continue to ask for the 3 years. If you guys don't wanna grant me that 3 years for whatever reason, if you don't think it's going fast enough, or it's not doing, that's all up to you. But at the end of the day, that's what I was advised to do.
And I
So-
understand it, and the thing is I've said it to a lot of other permit extension requests too. And I'm not the only one on this board, the only one on the board that said that. If you go with another 3 years, that gives you 6. If we give you 2 and you put a little acceleration to it, then it's easy. It's like you come back, I got the garage in, I got this in, I got that in. If in 2 years from now you got nothing done, then we're right back where we are again. That's the only way I look at it, and I'm the only one, if I'm the only one that looks at this, well.
But, one question, would he still be eligible for an extension at the end of the state?
I think you're only, what, the permit extension?
Yeah,
Yes,
For an additional.
yeah, you'd be,
right?
I would,
I'm sure he can come back for another extension.
Exactly.
well, no, I think, you only,
There was something in
I
Why
there.
don't
mean,
you just take the
this is-
automatic one?
right,
Have
that's
to
what
come
I'm
back in
getting
front
at.
of-
Whereas
and
it's a
consult
state-
with, somebody who
Because I was advised not to for some reason.
But can we even do that, Ryan?
It's something to
Can we-
consider,
It's
Aaron.
automatically extended.
I
by
already
the
considered
governor
everything.
To that date.
I've talked to
Are we gonna
people, talked to lawyers.
Be able to
That-
extend it more?
That's why I was curious about the guidance. If it's
Right.
already,
There is-
if it's already extended, you're essentially,
Don't even have to be
you're
here.
asking for an extension earlier than you need to,
Right.
because it's already extended for
Right.
2
You
years.
really
To me.
aren't,
Hey, my hands are tied, I got hit with it
Then
last
you
minute.
then you could come to us and ask us for a 3-year extension.
in 2 years.
In 2 years.
Right.
Right.
That's
Well,
that's
2
the.
years.
And that was my thought process behind
Yeah,
it.
2 years from the
Originally, I thought
expiration
I
of
was
the
just
original
gonna,
NOI.
originally, I thought I was gonna waive it, get the extra 2, and then carry on. But there was a little loophole that I brought to my attention, and that it was advised for me that not to,
Just go
and
with
to
the
go for the
extension.
3.
I don't even know how to write that up.
I don't think,
On
it doesn't, yeah.
Bill, we're looking for you. What kind of information?
I mean, I've just involved, Bill Madden from GAF, I've just been involved with a couple of extensions recently based on that Permanent Extension Act thing, and to me, I think it's an automatic extension of 2 years, and then when that 2-year time frame is exhausted, 30 days prior to the expiration date of that 2-year time frame, I think the applicant can request a 3-year extension
There you go.
of the original order.
Sure.
That's what I
That's what
was.
I-
I
That's,
understand.
yeah, I
Right.
mean, it would only make sense.
I've been advised many times wrong before. It wouldn't be the first time I'd be wrong again.
Well, I mean,
Because nobody ever knows what's going
Essentially,
on.
right now, your permit is active until 2027,
I understand.
January
that.
16th.
Oh, I understand. I'm on the same
Yeah,
page.
yeah.
I was advised not to, and I was advised to ask for my
well,
extension.
you-
Well, this
And
is,
then only unexpired orders of continuances or extensions may be extended, so that's not the case anymore. It's like it doesn't apply,
Right,
right?
yeah.
I mean, I don't.
The state definitely needs to issue.
Yeah,
we need
on
guidance,
that
for sure.
one.
I think this might be the reason why they asked me to do it, because it's not all figured out yet.
I know.
So it's in my best interest to just get the
But
extension
based-
written.
based
So,
on my-
I don't know.
Based on my conversation with town council, it is enacted.
No, I know, according from what I read, as soon as she signed it, it was immediately active.
Right.
Yeah.
So, you-
From what I understood and what I read from the law, and I went through it piece by piece, and I had time to do like I said I was going to do. And then after talking to the other people, they had a couple other concerns, just like all we do right
If you're-
now.
if you're
And they said
already-
it is in the smartest thing would be to do would be to continue to ask for my 3-year, because it's not gonna hurt nothing. I'll just get my year now, and then I presented to them that it might be, I was looking at it as I was no longer gaining 2 years that way. But then I could be, there's all kinds of other ifs that are involved. And with, nobody really knowing
Either way, it's only gonna
exactly,
get a year
it's just a
out
way
of
to,
it, either way.
it's just a
What's
way
that?
to be cautious and to hold my own, save my own back. Also, isn't it in the bylaw, I mean, in the law that states, as long as this, let's see, then, even if it's opened, I could, if it was continued, it would still be valid, because I'm up, what, next week? The 19th?
Yeah,
No, end of
don't
this
let it
week.
go
It's not,
automatically.
it's not up.
But no, it wouldn't be up.
Because
It's
it's
extended,
it's already,
it's extended.
yeah, you-
27.
So then maybe,
you're already covered till 27, like you said,
yeah, so,
right now.
I don't know, it's
Right now.
only.
Do you wanna get a second opinion in it?
I mean, I would.
Well, I already did, and this is what they told me to do.
I don't know.
I'm not doing with the problem here. This is what, they just said to go for the 3 years.
But you're technically not even expired.
Right.
Well, technically it would be on the 19th, but now with the,
No.
I didn't see anything in the law stating that this situation either. I was like, I don't know, but
I mean, we all feel you got till the 27th, year 27, right?
2027.
I,
So, with that being said, you really don't even need an extension right now, because you're granted the 2 years.
Right.
But if you are asking for extension before that before you're saying that 2-year kicks in, I still agree with the 2-year, that's my own personal opinion.
Yeah, we already know you want your 2
And
years, that's about.
and I think it's premature to ask for the 3-year when the 2 years not even expired until 2027. That's my opinion.
I don't know.
Well,
I have as many questions as you guys.
Like-
I just got the phone call a little while ago. I was like, what do you mean? Like,
I mean, there's a motion and a second on the floor, but based on my conversation with town council, there's an automatic 2-year extension.
so now what if we go through with it and now they're,
Then this
Well-
commission's gonna have a lot more work to do because we just eliminated.
well, not this
We just
commission.
eliminated a lot, I mean, a lot of litigation is being handled because of this extension act. So-
Oh, I understand.
So, I mean,
I haven't-
that's the only advice I got for you. You can make your own decision on how you wanna proceed, but everything is under the assumption, same thing with, they just removed their notice of intent. They just.
I
withdrew it.
understand. I'm not the one,
So
I'm not the one that's denying it. It was others that were. And then some people aren't here right now.
Okay. So what do you?
So, I don't know, my hands are tied too. I'm not the one right now.
Honestly, Ryan, I
I'm
wouldn't
supposed to
even
have
have
the
to fill
answer.
out
I
the
didn't have no
paperwork.
time to research what I got
File
told
it
either,
with
so.
deed because it doesn't make sense. It says you can only unexpired orders of conditions may be extended. It's not expired anymore.
Right.
Correct.
And you do it within 30 days, so
Right,
I
right.
think this.
Yep.
It has to be no less than, it says no less
No less than 30 days.
than
so-
30 days. It does not say I couldn't do it right after if I wanted to. It says no
No.
less.
Right.
Right.
It doesn't say you can't do it, you can't go in for an extension a year before,
Yeah.
which you can.
Yeah.
And then if there's any problems, you have time to address them problems. It doesn't state anything else. The only thing it states is that you have to do it no less than 30 days prior.
Right.
Which I started it more than that, and now, I don't know, another curveball.
But you're not expired.
Yeah, I.
The
I
19th,
have
you're
to
not
agree.
expired.
I understand.
I think you're already under the same permit until 27, and I think,
Come back and ask for 2 years and
Correct.
27. That would be my honest
yeah,
opinion.
I think
I
that
don't, my
is-
honest opinion was gonna be the same. I don't know. To be honest, I don't care. Whatever you guys, as long as you guys back it. But I don't wanna hear, oh, well, in 2 years. Oh, well, all right. This went on, now you're not covered. I don't wanna hear it.
No, I know, but we just sent an applicant out with the same
Same
Scenario.
information.
scenario.
And he wasn't as concerned as I am.
But the thing is too, Eric, if you listen to Joanne, she don't even know how to write this because she can only write it on an expired, and I'm
That
like,
is irrelevant for my problem.
no, it isn't, because you're not
It's not
expired.
expired.
It is.
Eric,
You got 2
And you're
more
saving
years.
I know,
$167.
All right,
It's
we're
not
already going
filing
over this
fee.
again. All right, I'll say it again. It wasn't my decision. This is what I was advised to do. I really don't know. Like I just said, as long as everybody on this board is willing to honor it, who says anybody's gonna even be here, I have no problem doing it at all.
I hope to be alive.
We have
But at
to,
the end
we
of the
have
day,
to, Eric,
I'll be
because
honest
that's
with you,
what they
I won't
said.
be.
Right, but that's what they said. They said you got an extra 2 years.
I know, they also, you know what?
Well, that's.
I've also called the town with this whole, I got in this
All right,
position,
let's
and they told me.
point of order, let's just stay on topic here.
I am on topic. I'm just saying, I've been bad advice before by boards, and I don't want to have it happen again. If nobody knows, nobody knows. How am I supposed to feel any better if nobody knows?
Ryan talked to the
I talked to
council.
town council.
We got the 2, you got the
I
2-year
trust you,
extension.
Ryan.
You're not
No, I
expired.
don't. Not
Yeah.
trust you.
Well, I mean,
It would
we
be-
pay a lot of money for town council, this town, and I just spoke with him. And the advice I got, the opinion I got from him is that. the
Okay, so my
permit-
answer is your call. I don't know.
Expired.
Yeah, you're not expired.
You're not expired.
So.
Okay.
So
January
you-
It's on the record.
You're still,
That it's not expired.
still active.
No, yes, you got an automatic
Right.
2-year extension from January, I mean, yeah, from
January
January 19th.
January 19th,
So you're-
2027.
so
And then
under
it's
this
gonna be,
new law-
and on the meeting,
Yeah.
meeting mail, I want it to be
And-
noted
And we're on YouTube.
Yeah.
that this went on.
I would say
I'm not
come-
dealing with this
If they're
again.
not completed by, say, late November, December, come in.
Of
do the-
27
do the
of
request.
26.
Right.
26
Yeah,
or
26.
The end of
26,
26.
yeah.
Yeah.
Come back in.
So by
What would be my
apply for-
date then?
November, come see us in November of
Right, but
26.
it's gonna be
No, it had to be
extended
30 days
automatically.
prior.
That is 30.
Oh, that is, yeah.
Right.
Within,
January
30.
19th,
Yeah.
2027.
because stuff gets
November
done here around
1st.
Christmas time.
November
Well,
1st.
that's why I said come back.
2026.
Of 2026.
Done.
So I guess then,
You would ask the commission respectfully to withdraw your
why,
extension of, or your order of conditions, because your order of conditions are
Extension.
Still-
active.
that's
No,
correct.
extension
Still-
request,
Extension request,
Yeah.
right.
Mr. Chairman,
yes.
I don't know.
before that happens, if you're gonna do that, I would suggest having whoever made the motion withdraw the motion.
Thank you.
I'm gonna withdraw the motion of a 2-year extension.
I'll second that.
Okay.
And-
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what I should even be motioning right now. I mean, not,
All right,
Nothing, I
so,
think we're done.
no, because then I either have to send in
all right,
do I
so.
have to send in a letter withdrawing my,
You could just write a-
Extension?
You could write a note and send it in saying,
or
actually,
did it even count because it got continued? So the letter, it still would, yeah, okay,
Yes.
overthinking, Eric overthinking.
yeah, Eric,
So-
Eric overthinking. Eric,
Do I send in a letter?
submit a letter to Joanne requesting to withdraw your request for an extension of your order of conditions.
The state already did it for you.
Yes,
Yeah,
the state.
it's already
extended.
happened.
You
And then we'll talk
Write
November
a thank you letter to
2026.
Maura Healy.
Yeah.
I'm not
All
thinking
right, so-
anybody, I don't even wanna be here
So,
right now.
I understand, Eric. So I'll entertain a motion.
Send in a letter request, withdraw.
I'll entertain a motion to withdraw the request for an extension of order of conditions for Hathaway Road, contingent on the receipt of a letter requesting such from Eric.
You want my letter now?
So moved.
Is there a
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
You're all set.
Thank you, Mr. DeVaros.
thank you. All right,
Hey, boy!
new business, public hearing, RDA, James Souza, 183 Mattapoisett Road, map 10, lot 12. A request for determination was filed by James Souza for property located at 183 Mattapoisett Road, map 10, lot 12. The applicant proposes to replace the existing septic tank with a 1,500-gallon concrete septic tank and install a new chamber-type leaching area within the 100-foot buffer zone of a bordering vegetated wetland. The applicant is represented by David DeVignan of Schneider DeVignan Leone Incorporated. Plan name is Sewage Disposal System Repair Plan for property located at 183 Mattapoisett Road, be dated December 13, 2024. Review matters presented, votes may be taken. I'll entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
Motion to open.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm gonna recuse myself.
All right, Mr. Souza's recusing himself.
Ryan, I'd like to recuse myself too, please.
Okay, Mr. DeVaros is recusing himself. Mr. Souza.
James Souza of 183 Mattapoisett Road. I had the engineers, Dave DeVignan, draw up a new plan for a new septic system. The land was all delineated. He put it right up on my lawn, close to the chicken coop. It's real close to where the old one is. This is a repair, and I'm just looking for you guys to say okay.
Yep. What's the closest point to the wetland?
Yeah.
Just for
It's
reference.
that corner, right?
Yeah.
Sit in the
Oh, yeah,
audience,
that's, yeah,
or-
that's right, you.
Yeah, I was absent.
No, I forgot.
Saturday. I
Yeah,
forgot.
no, whatever.
The closest corner looks to be about 60 feet.
Okay.
Oh, even more.
Well, I'll make this short and sweet. This is common practice in this town. I guess any upgrade is better than what's existing in most cases. So, 60 feet, that's, you know, we've dealt with 25 feet
Right.
on other occasions. It's pretty straightforward. I will, is there anybody, oh, sorry, I apologize.
So
Public-
we did make the site visit out there on Saturday. Everything was in line to what was proposed through my eyes, and I think through the commission's eyes. I don't see any problems moving forward with this project.
Is there anybody from the public to speak on this project? No? I just wanted to check. Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I'll entertain a motion to issue a negative determination for 183 Mattapoisett Road for the septic installation.
Make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay. Next public hearing. Notice of intent, Matthew Vitello, 231 Mattapoisett Road, map 10, lot 14.14A, SC file number 001-0599. A notice of intent is filed for property located at 231 Mattapoisett Road, map 10, lot 14.14A. The applicant proposes to construct a single-family house with a septic system, roof area infiltration system, associated grading in small portion of the paved driveway within the 100-foot buffer zone of a bordering vegetated wetland. The applicant is represented by Alphonse Coca of KBM Design Group LLC. And name is proposed single-family dwelling site plan dated December 16, 2024. Review of matters presented, votes may be taken. I'll entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
Motion. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good afternoon. My name is Alphonse Coca with KBM Design Group. I'm here representing Mr. Matthew Botello for the proposed construction of a single-family house at 231 Mattapoisett Road, lot number 2, that was recently subdivided. So since the submission for the NOI, we've also submitted with the Board of Health for the septic design, which includes a 1,500-gallon tank and chamber-style leaching field. The septic has been approved. It's 75 feet away from the wetlands. The proposed house will be the closest point to wetland flag number 8, which cheats out a little bit. As you can see, it's 40 feet away. We've raised the grades due to high groundwater elevations. We have to keep the septic about 4 feet from the high groundwater, and also have the foundations of the proposed house not in the water table, so we don't have any water issues in the future. Erosion controls have been proposed for the entire limit of work, and pretty much that's the extent of the limit of the work. And the location, like the closest point to the wetlands, we had to get that close due to side yard setback that we have to maintain.
Okay, I apologize, I wasn't able to make the site visit on Saturday. I know the site, I've driven by it a million times. I have some concerns here. You just said you're raising the grade. The abutter is close by. You're concerned about the runoff from the impervious area that you're creating here with this house. I understand there's roof infiltration systems or whatever, but bringing the grade up is gonna cause stormwater that isn't captured by your roof system to run towards your neighbor's house. So that's one issue. Second issue is, I mean, I just read the agenda. It says within the buffer zone, 100 feet, a small portion of the paved driveways within the buffer zone. It looks like most of this house is in the buffer zone.
Correct. Most of the house, but the driveway. And the driveway won't cheat towards the butter, will go towards the street. It's been graded to go that way.
Right.
So no impervious is being routed to any abutting, to the abutter, or the wetlands.
Well,
All right. And then if this was to be approved, some sort of demarcation should be required. Do you guys have like a fence? I just, putting an entire house within 40 feet of the buffer zone, of the wetland line, you know, mowing the grass, doing stuff in the yard, before you know it, there's encroachment, and you're encroaching within, 40 feet into it. I've seen that. So some sort of
Split rail fence?
split rail fence, something of that nature. That just based on the drawings and looking at the site, that's kind of what I came up with this. It just seems like a lot to squeeze into, you're squeezing 10 pounds of stuff into a 5-pound bag on this project, it appears, and that's just my observation. I read the notice of intent, everything, all the notes, everything seems good in theory, but, I try to think with common sense sometimes, and it just something just about this don't sit right with me.
Yeah, definitely is postage stamp.
can I speak to you?
Yep.
All right, so when I was out, I was also very skeptical about the whole project. How it all became even in a project in one. I noticed not only is there a wetland, but on that plan, it's not showing the pond that's sitting out there. Which makes a huge difference for setbacks. Let me read a little something. The distance you should build a house away from the setbacks is at least 50 to 100 feet within the areas suggested. And then as a pond, it can be up to, depending on drainage and pond size and other factors, it could be up to 300 feet away from a pond. Now, there's no possible way it would be 300. I don't even see it getting 100 feet away. We're in it, right?
Can I-
Yeah, sure.
So this is a near map imagery from April of this year. This is the property that hasn't been on the assessors yet, but the pond is near this driveway, for this property right here, so yeah, and the house will be, the corner of the house is right here on the street,
Yep.
so it's pretty far away.
And yeah, I understand it, but it's not even shown on the plan, and that was clearly sitting right there.
I
And
looked at, sorry.
You already stated the high water levels in that area.
The redox, no
I
water was.
also agree with Ryan with the runoff.
Is that it?
As much as you say the grade,
Can I see it, Mark?
like the driveway is going to go towards the road, it's physically impossible unless we're seeing a retention wall here, which is not shown, to not grade, for any grading to not be done going towards the neighboring house. You can't just,
Well, the driveway is about between
yeah, but you can't
4 and
just, on the side of the
8%.
driveway, the side of the
Right,
driveway is
along.
gonna be graded in. So, when you come from this and you go there, it still, water still goes to least resistance. So,
With saying that, Ryan, I mean, Eric, if you don't mind me saying, they put a house right next door to me, and I get flooded out now. So, I mean, I don't know, they were at elevation 109, my driveway's at 98, where do you think all the water goes? Now I'm dealing with this. And, it's something that no one should have to deal with, truthfully.
Especially raising the grade, that significantly, because of the water table that exists in that area, you are gonna flood that neighbor out. There is gonna be problems. You're gonna flood that roadway out, raising that grade of that property that high.
I wish this board
Okay.
would've said that about mine.
and on top of that, it also, one of the stipulations, it does say about the pond, has a huge side effect, is that it has to do with drainage.
Now they're worried about other things.
A lot of Matapoiset Road, there used to be swales all the way across, and I feel like it's puddling a lot in that area, even if you don't want to call it a pond. Then it's being used for the stormwater system, which also falls under another concern where it says it could be up to the 300 foot away. I'm not one to tell people what they can and can't do with their projects, but there is a large amount of different things we gotta consider as a board on such a project being so close.
I guess my concern is, I mean, they can be spoken to, obviously, but my concern is, it's a single-family dwelling, it's exempt from the stormwater bylaw or Massachusetts stormwater standards, but it's, I don't know, it's like a recipe for disaster here, I think.
Especially with the proposed grade that is being proposed.
Yeah, but it don't matter. They did it to me. My neighbors did it to me. They're at 109, I'm at 98. So what's the difference?
So, what's the reason?
Wait one second, Kathy, if you don't mind.
Oh, what's the
They'll
reason
call you
being
up.
so much that you had to move what are you trying to do, an underground
Septic.
basement?
No, it's a septic system.
Oh, so you're trying to match grade of the septic?
No,
That's grade and plus
the
the
water
top.
table.
They don't want to have the
It's gotta be,
foundation.
I know, I thought you said he had to bring
Yeah,
the
no,
house
it
up.
would have to be a raised system, so.
Yeah.
So he's
both.
trying to,
He's done both.
so it's gonna be a mount.
So, yeah, well, I mean, you can see the side elevations there.
1, 2, 3, 4.
What's the side elevation of the septic,
55?
Yeah, roughly.
roughly?
The break elevation would be
55.75.
about 50, that's the top of the grade, so it should be about 54 is the,
Before at the, yeah.
the break at the top of the septic.
And what's the neighbors?
The neighbor septic?
The
No,
the
the
neighbors'
Grade.
foundation.
The grade.
No,
Neighbor's grade.
No, but
It's about
it's,
51
right.
right
It'd
here.
be around 51, right?
Yeah.
So you're gonna be up 3 foot higher? 4 foot?
4
Well,
foot?
that's at the septic area.
On the septic area.
And that's the
Right,
highest point
but-
though, right?
Not
Correct.
necessarily,
Well,
if you look at the side
corner of the
elevation.
driveway is 55.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
Yeah.
at the bottom of the slope is 51.
I just think, honestly, can I just be honest right here? I just think
That's-
this project's gonna land on a little bit more than, there's just too many large factors involved here that I think that us as a board can make the call on our own.
Yeah, let's open it up to the public, and then we'll come to some
We'll
sort
go
of.
to, yeah.
Chairman, you have someone right there. Please go to the podium, state your name.
Hi, how are you?
Hi.
My name is Kathy Leipold, and my husband's Chris here. We live at 205 Matapoiset Road. We own the pond. I have pictures of the pond. At certain times, the pond is much smaller. Springtime, the pond extends, it's bigger, it drains. I have pictures of the pond. I have pictures of, the wildlife in the pond, the frogs, I'm not sure if it's an actual vernal pool or not, but, the pond with the eggs, all that sort of thing. And our concern is that sticking a house in that very small spot, obviously septics have to go high, house foundations have to go high, that, it's going to interrupt with the wildlife in the area. So if you'd like, I know you have photographs, but if you'd like to see some actual pictures of the pond and the wildlife, I have them for you.
So you're the house that's set
Way in the back.
in the back?
Yes, sir.
So I was trying to do some research on this once I looked at the plans. I looked at the wetland change maps, and you got, so behind you is Tinkham Pond.
Yes.
And then there's a hydrologic connection that runs, so that would be the west of your house, down to essentially your roadway, and it shows a hydrologic connection on one side and then the other, so I assume that water connects to what's.
Can you just, I'm a layman, do you know what a hydrologic connection is?
So the water.
Is that a pipe?
The water's connected to it from, it's essentially coming
Yes.
through the ground to.
Yes, so what
that
happens
area.
is when the pond overflows, there's almost like a small stream. It goes under our driveway and it goes towards that other side. And then it goes in the back. So, you know, our yard is a certain, we have like 19 acres, I think, but our yard is a certain amount. And after that, it drops off and it's all like mushy and wet. We don't go back there. It's under chapter 64.
Yeah.
It's, you know, it's not used lands. We basically have, you know, our family deer and, you know, coyotes and foxes that run through and the turtles that lay the eggs in the summer, in the springtime and of course.
Do you have a pipe under your driveway?
Yes.
It goes to the pond?
So it doesn't go to the pond, it goes for the runoff. So when
Yeah.
the pond gets high, when the pond's low, there's really no runoff. When the pond gets high, it's like a trickle that goes under my driveway and just naturally goes to the other side, and you can see it goes like past that, you know what I mean?
So it makes it way to think of pond.
Yeah, it probably goes to Tinkham Pond. I mean, I don't go back there, I've never been back there, besides when I was a kid, I've lived there, my parents owned that land, it was a pig farm on one side and a cow farm on the other, and we used to, Jimmy.
Yeah, Jimmy filled us
We
in on
traipsed
that.
through that land all the time,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
obviously as an adult, I don't go back there, but it, so our house, it traipses off and then it goes somehow to Tinkham Pond, but I don't have knowledge of that as an adult. But I do have pictures of the pond. I think this picture was taken in April when the pond was higher. But like I said, it's an ebb and flow of how full or expanded the pond is and how it trickles. So my concern, and this is my brother Larry, my sister-in-law Lucy, they live across the street, and we all know that that area is just, gets very wet, so putting another structure there is very concerning with the runoff and just even the traffic, and like you said,
How it's gonna affect your septic system.
yeah, my septic system is on the other side, so I don't think it's gonna affect my septic system, but it's certainly gonna affect the wildlife. And so I do have actual pictures of the pond if you'd like to see them. It's up
Yeah,
to
you
you. You have a picture there, I don't know if that portrays.
Yeah, no,
Is it showing that
You can bring it
picture
up.
at all?
You can show it.
Right? Is it showing that?
All right, so, I don't know if
No,
you
don't.
want to
You
see.
can't really.
No, you can't.
I've seen that
right?
pond so many times in my life, I know it like the back of my hand.
Also, that has like the frog, eggs, and then, sorry, that's me and my dog, so sorry, hold on, I'll get there.
Basically.
Oh,
That's cat, are you going the right way?
No,
Are you
sorry,
swiping the right way?
So here,
Some of your children.
so we went at night, we went at night, to take the pictures of the frogs, and, obviously there's a lot of wildlife in that pond,
Yeah.
so, just a little knowledge from someone who's lived there for.
Anybody else? Oh, I'm sorry to
Yeah.
cut you off. Is anybody else from the public like to speak on this? Right?
Larry Freitas,
Hi, Larry.
220 Mattapoisett Road, I'm right directly across the street from where this will be going in. Not sure how it's gonna configure in for being a certain distance from everybody's wells. The well at 235 Mattapoisett Road, which that house abuts, the well is in the driveway, which you probably guys know. Just don't know how well this is gonna configure into being far enough away from everybody's wells, everybody else's septic systems. I don't know how it's gonna affect the new people that bought the house at 231, how it's gonna affect their septic system. It's,
Well, as far as the well, Larry, if the Board of Health approved the
Yeah,
septic
they
system,
would
so
know.
that means the well is far enough away.
Right.
If
So
it's
just
already-
so you know that
Yeah.
that's been cleared through the Board of Health,
okay, all right,
all right?
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, so I guess, I don't know if this is too much of an ask, but I would like to have somebody else, another engineer look at it. Some sort of peer review. And if they could ease my concerns, then I wouldn't have a problem with it. And I think that goes for the commission as well. I don't want to speak for the commission, but also, like I said, if this project was to move forward, I would like to have some, whether it be a stone wall, some sort of demarcation line, because before you know it, your
Yeah.
backyard likes to
Oh, yeah.
expand on it.
Yeah, and we agree with the demarcation line, we can put it there, we can add a note. Regarding the fill in the back, so idea was to like get the roof runoff and recharge it. Due to redox at elevation 48, we need to have a minimum of 2 feet of separation for
Right.
stormwater. That's why we have to raise the site as it is. If we lower the site anymore, we can lose half of the fill in the back, but then we can't do any recharge, any stormwater control. And then all the roofs, like the roof gutters, will run uncontrolled. That's why the design is like this. We try to think of the impacts from the runoff from the roof. I
Right,
understand that next to a 231 lot, the existing house, we can redesign that one and put a small knee wall, and then reroute the water, so hopefully, so to get it away from the
Yeah,
water.
I'd be more comfortable with that.
Yeah, we can do that, yeah.
That's something that I considered right off the bat.
is the abutter here for
Some kind of-
231? No?
No.
But regarding the concerns to any wetland, to any other septic systems or wells, we are way
Right.
Yeah.
far away.
Outside of
Alright.
the, yeah.
And then the
That's not-
proposed septic system is more 75 feet away from the wetland, so it doesn't have any impact to the wetland or to the pond, which is even further away. And then the roof runoff, again, it's not gonna affect the pond, it's being routed to the back of the property, it'll be recharged, and it's oversized. I can provide calculations if
Can I just
you,
say, I'm just concerned because every time I've seen the gentleman there, it's when the pond is at the lowest. It's been the winter time. I don't think I've seen anyone there like really looking at the pond when it's springtime, when the pond is the biggest, you know what I mean?
I'd
So I
say,
hope
Kathy,
that-
with the pond, as long as they're so far away from it, that's what it's all details. I think the chairman making a suggestion that it goes peer review. So in other words, someone that represents the town will look at everything, make sure everything's a go. If he says, oh, a wall should go up or something else should go up, he would let us know.
Okay,
I think it's the right thing for Ryan to suggest that,
thank
and
you.
actually, I'll put it in a motion that this project go into peer review and be second looked at under the expense of you guys.
And I'll second that motion at this time.
All
Can
right.
they peer review it in April when the water's high?
It doesn't matter, Kathy. I hate to say it, it doesn't matter.
Alright.
Yeah, I mean, we just make sure that projects that are going in near wetlands are done properly, and that's really an element, some of the elements that I picked up there, you know?
Seems like when Larry and myself were building our houses, the laws were a lot stricter or something because
Well, Larry, how far are you from your pond?
Well, I went through hell to put the house in.
I know you did. What I'm saying is your house is real
That
close to a
Conservation
pond,
Commission.
Not that
uh,
Same here.
right? So it's like,
I had to put in like 700 feet of fence.
Yeah.
Cost me a fortune. And I did it myself. But that's when I was young.
yeah, I remember those days.
I couldn't even get close to the
What I'm
water.
saying is though, it's another guy that is close to the pond, and
Yeah.
if he's doing it correct,
Yeah.
the guy owns the property. So if
Right.
we send it to peer review, another engineer is looking at it.
Yeah.
If they all come back and say it's a go, fine. If they say something has to be changed, then we'll let engineer to engineer discuss it and figure out what's the best way to
You come
Going
back
forward,
with
yeah.
some-
move forward.
before it goes to peer review, do you want me to incorporate the change we talked about, the fence and the retaining wall on the side?
Well,
Or do you want to
I
send this
mean,
as is?
I mean.
That's your prerogative.
Yeah, that's your call, I mean,
Yeah.
you could do it, you could submit these for peer review and then go over your changes that you
yeah.
proposed with.
Yeah.
The engineer.
Sure,
With the
that makes
engineer.
sense too.
We'll do that, okay.
Yeah,
On that motion, there was,
I don't know if it requires a motion, but we can, there's a motion in a second. but
yeah,
just
but
to-
the motion wasn't, it didn't say what we were gonna do when it came back. If we were just gonna
Well, no,
change
we'll,
it to that.
no, we'll, right,
review.
yes,
Oh, all right.
so yeah,
Yeah, we have
yeah,
to-
you can.
you have to-
decide that.
So I'm gonna change my motion, that this goes to peer review, and then after receiving it from peer review, you come to another meeting and we'll review all together what the engineer is suggesting and see if you're willing to go with what he suggests.
And again, I'll second the motion.
All right, so we'll,
Maybe- okay.
yeah, so we're gonna continue this public hearing.
Mm.
We can do, you have to continue it to a date and time certain.
Yeah, so.
So,
Joanne, what's 2 meetings away?
Failed the motion.
so that would be March,
29th.
right? Well, don't count the January one, it'd be February.
not the 15th.
Not the 29th.
April 9th.
Oh,
March
so-
what?
We got March 12th. I'm only doing one.
Yeah, right, so that would be the March meeting. I would think that between now and March,
Yeah.
there should be some,
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we can,
Well,
and then if there's nothing to report, then we can continue.
yeah, but by March, I mean, there should be plenty of time for us to,
I would say so.
Yeah.
So the only thing I am gonna say to the people that live and came here as abutters, you will not get another notice for the March 12th meeting.
Okay,
So if you wanna come and listen to see what's going on, just be here on March 12th,
okay,
because that will not be a card.
okay.
Yeah, you can go on the town website and sign up for notifications to your email for meetings. You can pick conservation, planning, selectmen, whatever.
Well, let's go through it. Now, if we send it to peer review, I have concerns about the flagging as well. Will that be something that will be looked into? Or are they just gonna look at the plan? Because like I said, the pond's not even noted. The background, the
Pond is on
law
this
about the
property.
pond will change the whole drastic, the whole property, the whole thing.
The pond ain't on this property, that's why it's not
Yeah.
shown on this drawing.
Right. Yep.
So,
They don't own the pond,
was
Kathy
like-
does.
So at 100 feet at the end of the buffer, the pond was like right
Yeah,
here.
but that's,
It's still on someone else's property.
It might have, but
That's-
no, it might have not been on his property. Like she said, if people go out there when it's not wet, it might have not shown it then.
Can I show you a picture? I have a
There's-
picture of
there's-
mine.
there's
I don't know if this is
Right.
There's a
helpful.
That's
road
it.
that runs parallel.
I don't know if that's helpful to you. This is my driveway. And I don't know how to read that, but we just took out our plans today.
So your driveway crosses
This-
right
this is
at
my
that thinnest,
driveway.
probably at that thinnest point, right?
Yes, my driveway's right at the corner here.
yeah, that's worth
So,
following up on.
I don't know how this matches
Like you
that,
said.
but I'll let you look at
Well,
it.
Yeah.
all right, you can have your phone. No, that's because the lot was split differently now.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
you have the aerial imagery showing where the pond is. It's pretty far away from the edge of the property line.
How far ballpark?
Trying to see.
I know what 100 feet looks like. I'm just saying.
We are, this is the closest point, which is wet flag number 8, which points out. The pond is, so it's 40, it's over 100 feet from,
No, I'm saying, how far is the pond from the property line, not the furthest flag?
oh, from property
Line
line?
itself, no.
I would say,
Why are we all coming to assumptions? If you're sure it's off the property,
Yeah.
then there'll be no problem having someone look at it real quick. It's not gonna be
Correct. No,
expensive.
we suggested peer review.
Correct.
Yeah, but I didn't, is peer review gonna cover a botanist?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
peer review works for the town. What you dictate to peer review,
right.
they're to look into.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I think they should look at the whole thing,
I-
site
yeah.
visit and all.
Yeah, there's 12 flags to check. I mean,
Yeah, it's not like, it's not huge, like I said, I'm just, and
No, I
like we
agree.
all said, the constant thing I kept hearing throughout everybody's conversation is drainage. It doesn't matter if you have the driveway come off the driveway and it all goes into the road and then goes back into the pond, it's still going in the same spot.
all right, so there's a motion to continue this public hearing.
To the March
I
12th.
think it needs
To
to
the-
be in the motion.
Mr. Chairman, sorry, one more time, Bob Hinckley, Board of Selectmen. There's a motion and a second to send it to peer review.
Yes,
I suggest voting on that before you continue.
okay. Yeah, there is. I thought he said continued as well. But, okay, so there's a motion and a second to send this to peer review. All those in favor?
Aye.
That's unanimous. Okay, so I will entertain a motion to continue this public hearing to the March, you said 13th?
15?
March 12th, 2025 meeting.
Motion to continue this meeting.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, so we'll continue that. You can get in touch with Mark. We can give you a list of peer reviewers to decide on.
it's up to you guys, we have no preference.
You have no preference?
Yeah.
We can't make that decision.
I know a guy, but I don't know if he's up for it, but,
We're gonna send you probably 3, you pick one, we'll use them.
yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah, we
Thank you
have
very
to.
much. Have a good night.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
I'll send you 3.
Thank you.
We can't just send one,
No,
just so everybody's aware.
we'll send three. You can choose. Okay, discussion, 550 Main Street, Navison Solar.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. 550 Main Street, Navison Solar Site, drainage issues, review matters presented, votes may be taken.
You go first?
All right, you guys decide who goes first.
I'll go first.
Okay.
We had a sidewalk a couple of weeks ago, looking at all of this. It was at that sidewalk that I represented that I thought what was in the ground was there, and we were gonna start looking. We've been looking internally. What we've uncovered is there were some inconsistencies in plans that were approved versus calcs that were approved versus the as-bills. So what we are now in the process of doing is reestablishing what's in the ground right now. We're resetting all of the as-built, we're resetting all of the inverts, we're resetting all of the elevations. That plan, and we were out there today remeasuring everything. We're gonna take that plan, we're gonna go back to the HydroCAD calculations that GAF had reviewed previously, adjust as needed. So what's in the field is what's in the plans and what's in the HydroCAD. We're gonna, on our side, we're getting that done by Friday. We will then submit back to Bill what we've uncovered early next week. And so I wanted to come here tonight and kind of make this all go away. I'm gonna actually request that within 2 weeks, we're gonna come back with a plan that GAF and we have determined what is there, what needs to be tweaked, and how we do that. That's short term. The other short term is we have a storm coming in potentially this weekend. We're gonna be out there, we're gonna be on site Saturday night, Sunday night, looking at what's happening. We're gonna talk to Bill over the next couple of days. We might plug some of the low flow outlets just to make sure that everything's good. We're gonna be on site, make sure nothing happens. That's for this. A little bit longer term, we are then, based on everything that we come out of, what we're determining on elevations and inverts, we're gonna come up with an interim plan between now and spring, because we can't, we don't wanna break anything up right now. We don't wanna start construction in the middle of winter. So we need grass to get the grass growing in April. So we're gonna come back here in 2 weeks with a plan from now to April that we've agreed with GAF. We're gonna represent that to the entire town. We had a meeting today with several boards. This is gonna go to the planning board, it's gonna go here. We're gonna keep the town administrator's office and board of selectmen all lined up. Everybody's on the same page, where we are, what we're doing, and we're gonna come up with a course of action here for the next 2 weeks, and I'll be back to this board saying how we're gonna get this all fixed up.
If you don't mind, Chairman. One thing I noticed is that, like, Bill mentioned the loom coverage. Loom coverage ain't there.
So, we talked about this today. We have a
meeting today.
We talked about it in the meeting. We're gonna talk about all this, and we're gonna come up with what needs to be done, we're gonna rerun. If we have to adjust some, I think vegetation is more important than loom coverage. If you have, and we've talked about this today, but if we can adjust our calculations to prove what we're doing, tweak some of the outlets, we will. But we need to get the grass growing out there. We had grass that was about knee high. I cut it in October. I shouldn't have cut it, and it went too low. So, there are some things there. That's what we're gonna work with GAF over the next couple of weeks to make sure, and everybody's gonna be in agreement on a path forward.
Well, I hope cutting the grass doesn't change everything.
Cutting the grass to this and then the whole site freezing changes it a little bit.
Yeah, so ultimately, I caught the meeting today, it was a productive meeting, I think. The loam could be a factor, but they're gonna tweak other factors. Ultimately, what we're looking for is the end result. If there needs to be some modifications here, there to compensate for that or that, then we just want the end result to be correct, and that's what Bill's working on.
And I think on the loam coverage, the only thing that's gonna really affect would be how quick and how nice the vegetation takes. It was vegetated and stuff, it wasn't like.
It's still vegetated.
Yeah, it's still.
It's just really low.
It's,
right.
The whole point of the loam is to create growth, not.
Right.
Well, that, and
It
could slow.
Right.
Yeah.
But guys, in reality, the site is what it is, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And this is why we have GAF involved. It's now, how do we fix this issue going forward? I don't think adding 4 inches of soil between the panels or even through that whole site is a fix. I think we should leave this to the experts based upon the information that GAF is gonna provide. And we run with this, and we hope we never, ever get a call from any of the neighbors after the site, hopefully, is fixed based upon the information that we're given, they agree upon and we agree upon to fix this issue going forward, and it's lessons learned on this particular site
Right.
and sites going forward.
Bill, you got?
I do, actually.
Go ahead, Bill.
Come on up, Bill.
Well, here's a letter, here's a copy of, I prepared a letter after our site inspection, what have you. I'll just keep one copy for myself, what level I can read from, but there's several. I don't think I made enough for everybody. But since we're talking about the topsoil and the loam, I'll try to simplify an explanation on how it does affect the runoff. When you have your vegetation, your vegetative layer, then you have an organic layer, and then you have subsoil under that, then you have the parent material that's there. Removal of the organic matter and removal of the subsoil layer, diminishes the thickness of that growing medium, but it also diminishes the thickness of the area they call the area of interflow. Interflow is a portion of the stormwater runoff that runs right below the topsoil on the hard pan, or the more impervious soil. So we have the C-type soils there. Whatever we have on top of that will infiltrate through that topsoil, right, and ride on that impervious layer. So in the absence of that topsoil, the void space in the topsoil, the volume that consumes some of the runoff, it has no place to go. So it all ends up as runoff. It does perform a pretty good function. It can in some instances be as much as 30% of the runoff that comes off a site can be termed as interflow. So that's the reason that I think it's important to evaluate here, because it does result in an increase in runoff. And if we look at the way the site has reacted to rainfall events so far, it looks like there's more runoff going to the basin and there's more runoff leaving the basin. So that's the issue with the topsoil, and that's why I think it's important. And if we're not able to institute that element into construction, then we have to compensate for it in another way. That other way may be making the drainage basin larger. It may be putting another diversion berm in onto the site, create another intermediate area for ponding up gradient of the down gradient most drainage basins. But there's several things that can be done to work out the issue. But the biggest issue, I think what I observed when I went out there, after I got Ryan's stuff on the 14th, I think 15th of December, we had a storm event on New Year's Eve. I got up early on New Year's Day and I went for a walk out to the site, and I saw what was going on, at least what I thought was going on out there. And those low flow outlets that are in those outlet control structures, I mean, they were letting a lot of water out. I think they're a little on the large side for me. When we put low flow outlets in, we usually use a small device that the water just trickles out. This water, when we had 3 feet ahead on a 6-inch orifice, I mean, that's putting out a huge volume of water. And it leads to maybe a misconception that more water is leaving the site. It's just maybe more water leaving the site at that particular point in time, only because the outlet control structure in that low flow outlet might be just a little bit too big. So those are a couple of things that I outlined in the letter. I went through the inspections that we did down there. We also asked for as-bills going back, like in June, in July of '24. We received some in July. We didn't do much with them when we received them. We received another set in August. You remember August, July?
Right.
There was no concern for runoff at all. There was no rain. We had very, very dry summer.
Right.
So we didn't really look at those as-bills. I looked at them a little more closely before the January 4th meeting. I went out there in the field with the plans on January 1st, and just recognized a few things that didn't seem consistent with the plans. And I outlined a couple of things in the letter that essentially Steve has already, he presented what we were writing, essentially. You know, he was on the same page as us, and we had no discussion on it at all, so I find that as a good outcome. I think the runoff curve numbers need to be adjusted a little bit to suit the actual condition that went out there, that took place out there. And then I also think that, you know, when we go back and look about when we first got involved because there was an erosion and a sedimentation issue, and we needed to resolve that issue. That's what we resolved, and now we're focusing on the quantity, the rate, and the volume of the water that's being delivered to the basin and being discharged off-site. So we're dotting i's and crossing t's to get that number down there to finalize what the actual rates are, what the volumes are, and see where it leaves us with what has been constructed. You know, then if portions of what has been constructed will continue to work, you know, I think we would recommend that they remain. Things such as that are those overflow spillways, those 12 and 15 foot wide stone line spillways through the dikes with the concrete curb on them.
Yep.
Those might be fine. They might be wide enough. The freeboard might be adequate enough to accommodate the flows that exceed the design requirements with the regulations. Because I think that basin's designed for a 25-year event, but you know, you still have to manage the 100-year storm. We have to identify how we're going to manage that, and you know, basically everything is following the course that it has taken over years. I think that the issue is what's the rate occurring at certain times.
Mm-hmm.
If you're able to trim that rate down, I think you can make a minimization of the potential off-site flooding, but you know, you're just discharging that water out of the basin for a longer period of time, which I think it's fine. You look at those hydrographs, they come up and they peak real high with the storage is high, and then they taper right off and they just run out for, you know, 12, 16, 20 hours of time. And that's the piece on that curve, that's that low flow outlet. So you want to make sure that that volume is adequate, but the rate, I think it's more important to establish a rate that doesn't look like a torrent of a river ripping through the woods. And that's one of the major things I think that we need to work on.
So Bill, on Saturday when we were at the walkthrough, you said that this is a 71, but it could be a 98. What were those numbers you were saying?
Okay, well, those are the runoff curve numbers in the TR55 computer program. There's tableized runoff curve numbers. That's what we use when we determine runoff using TR55. They have a different number for hydrologic soil group A, B, C, and D. A being the best, D being the worst. We're at C, we're second worst. So, and D. We have some Ds, exactly. But the issue with the 71 and the 98 was really stemming from the water surface of the drainage basin itself. The water surface of the drainage basin itself should be modeled at a 98, because that water can't go anyplace but in the basin. And granted, it only happens when the basin has water in it, but it's an occurrence that will result, and we do have to mitigate for it. So you're better off mitigating that volume by including it early, and TR55 does state that you use 98s for surface waters, ponds, and deep drainage basins.
So did they use a 71 or did they use a 98?
They did not use a 98. They might have used a 77 or a 75 based upon, you know, pasture in good conditions is what was being used for the finished construction. So the pasture in good condition on a C-type soil is a curve number 71. So what I'm saying is that since it's not really a pasture, you know, in its current state, and it's not bare soil, it's someplace in between. So I'm saying it's gotta be somewhere in between a 71 and say an 88 or an 87, something along those lines. Likely to be in the mid-80 range when things get analyzed, but maybe not, maybe it'll be a smaller number. So what you need to do is you need to design your storage of your drainage basin based on the differences. I'm oversimplifying this, based on the differences.
No, I'm actually with you though.
Okay, based on the differences of those curve numbers. So when the curve number goes up, you get more water, when it goes down, you get less. And what we're trying to do is figure out how to balance everything so that we can equal the condition that existed prior to the start of construction. And that was woods in good condition, which I think had a runoff curve number of I think it was 70, I thought it was 71, but it might have been 74. So that's what we're comparing. We're comparing the wooded site on sea soils.
Andy.
Sandy soils.
So it roughly comes out to about 75.
Yeah, and then the constructed site has to match that number. And you match that number by modifying the surface of the ground and by providing drainage. Or by solely modifying the surface of the ground and putting no drainage basins in, or by putting a drainage basin in and not modifying the surface of the ground.
So them woods, right? Those woods had a loam section.
Yes.
Then they have a rooted, leave all that compost. So how thick was that was slowing everything down, that was stripped out and now it's running like a...
Therein lies the problem, therein lies what we need to mitigate. We need to do something to compensate for the leaf litter, the duff in the woods, the topsoil that's there, whether it's substantial or not. But that's what we have to do, is strike that balance. I mean, we know what to do, but Steve was on point with all this today when we were talking for the first time on it. So that's what we have to do, is just select from the menu of things that we can put on that site what will work the best.
So can we change it to a 98 that you guys have to go by? In other words, make the basins bigger, and why are you shaking your head no?
Because it's not a 98.
No.
Because it isn't a 98, and we at a minimum have to follow the guidance that the document gives us.
Okay.
So Mr. Souza, 98 is a parking lot. And so that's pure asphalt, nothing, no vegetation. So I agree with Bill. Is it 71 right now? No. Is it 98? No. I think we're somewhere in the middle, and that's what we're trying to figure out, and that's what we're going to work towards.
And what'd you originally design it at?
71,
Yeah.
which is a meadow, which
was never a metal though.
No,
No,
that's
the
current.
It's the
yeah,
same-
that-
it's the
that's
same
the
curve
equivalent.
as-
Yeah, that's the
Correct.
equivalent.
As a forest.
And you know, just like, you guys are hands-on common sense people, you know that in the real world, they're like right and left. They're not the same. They're not, but that's the guidance document, that's the document that everybody uses. You know, there is some fine print in different places that'll tell you what else you might want to do. You know, I've looked at all that stuff, the fine print, just trying to figure out the best way to do it, because I think the most important thing is to get that runoff curve number for the developed condition, the post condition, where it needs to be.
And I think, just so everybody, so
Similar.
we talked about this today. I think, again, do you want me to get up? Sorry.
No, you can.
Okay. I can yell. I can yell for you. Yeah. What I want to do is, and this is what we talked about today. Ultimately, there's a finished condition, which is grass comes back in the spring. This is what it is, and that's what I want to work with Bill on. That we all agree with that. Whether that's a 71, whether that's a 77 curve number, there's a finished condition that when we all walk away, once the grass comes up, that's the final condition. Then there's an interim between now and April. That might be an 85, and we might look at it at different, so that we can control up until we get to a point where we all, in the long term, agree that if we get everything moving in the right direction, everything's there, the grass comes back. That's the ultimate, and then there's the short term that we can design to, and that's what we're talking about doing.
Okay, so this weekend we got a storm coming. What's your plan? Just to go there and watch it?
You just said it.
No, we're gonna block off we think we're gonna block off the low flow outlet. The weather has changed since we started. It was like 2 inches of rain this morning. It's now a quarter of an inch on Saturday night and 2 inches of snow on Sunday. So
things might be better for
actually,
us.
it's better for us, right? So, but we're watching this, right? We watch this all the time.
I'm still concerned on making sure that, like, I don't want to say that anybody's right in this situation. I'm still concerned there's more water coming onto the site than is anticipated in the,
That's one of the things we're looking at.
you know?
Did you read the letter?
No, I haven't had a chance, I'm dyslexic. You think I'm gonna sit here and read this? It took me like 4 hours. So.
Let me have your copy.
Start on the back page. Start on the back page.
No, I'm gonna photocopy it, I'm gonna put it on my computer and have my thing read to me.
No,
That's how I
That's
work.
one of the things, so again, we're going back, we want to get to an agreement that what's actually in the ground right now.
So how are you gonna figure out if something's coming off site real quick?
We have topo from USGS,
You're not gonna, you can't.
we're not doing off-site aerials, or we have.
Well, that's the problem.
I looked at MassGIS data,
They have 1 foot coverage.
in the LiDAR data, and I looked at the LiDAR and I compared it to MassGIS. They're two different sources, and they show the same thing. They show very much the same thing. So what we need to do is just look at the site with the LiDAR topography on it, and that'll give us our boundaries of everything
So
that's
that would
coming.
tell you if the road's getting drained in there?
The road.
Which trip?
Like
Main
if
Street?
any of the roads are getting
Well, it would be,
spilled off
in this,
in there?
in this case, it would be Mental Road, it would be the
Correct.
up gradient road, but, yeah, it would, yeah.
It would show you
We've,
the drainage.
we've looked at it looks like it's about 6 acres off-site, but we haven't shown that to Bill yet. As soon as this has started happening, like I said, we've gone back and started recreating what happened back in March, April, May. We've already got some of this stuff analyzed, and we're looking at this.
From on the site though, I'm just curious because, we got someone saying that there's so much water, but it was clearly evidence there that there was already a problem in the first place. A. And B, like, maybe, I don't know, I just feel strongly that I don't
Eric,
understand where I can see where the.
I need to prove that what I've done is what's right, and that's where this starts, is making sure that plans and calcs all coincide, and then we can look at, are there other extenuating factors, right?
And Eric, the more water, when you think there's more water, if there is more water coming off the site, it is because the runoff curves that were selected weren't reflective of the real world condition.
No, I understand it was constructed to what you guys thought was going on in that certain area. What I'm saying is if there was more area than that, just that doesn't meet the eye, which happens a lot in this town, maybe our numbers are so far off as it's not just the construction that we're not taking into consideration a whole road getting dumped in.
But let me say this too, if we find that there's existing area that is coming onto the property, that has to get included in the existing conditions too. So we're gonna reset the existing, if there is more site than shown,
Yeah.
we have to start there. So then the existing conditions will be adjusted to show off-site conditions coming on, and then we're gonna have to do that for the post conditions as well.
Now, one of the things that we're dealing with, meaning the town's got to deal with, is the design point. The design point is the wetland or the property line. Okay, so where we are on the site, where the drainage basin is right now, coincides with the pre-development discharge point from a catchment area of that 29-acre site. So we're putting the water where the topography told us it goes.
And it's directly in line with a stone line channel.
Right.
So my biggest concern is stormwater going in there.
Well, it's supposed to.
No, I'm saying like from offside.
Oh, well, why I think you're seeing more water is because that interim condition that Steve mentioned, when you do our calculations, we do a pre-development set of calculations and a post-development set of calculations. That's what a commission typically approves. All right, what happens in between when we're actually building the project? There's no requirement anyplace other than erosion and sediment control that tells you what to do there. It's clear that in a site like this, the volume is more during construction. The runoff volume is going to be more during construction than during the pre-condition or the post-condition. because we have disturbed land.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that. I'm just,
But I also, when.
it looks out, it just, to me, I strongly feel there's something else that's going on other than what the project is at hand, you know, that's all. I'm
Well,
just
it
saying that
depends
there's
on-
something getting drained in it. It
Yeah.
could be underground. Who knows? Nobody knows nothing.
Well, it depends on where you're looking at the problem area. Like, if we look at the property line for the solar project, that's pretty defined as to what drains to that point, what area goes to that point. But if we look at the off-site areas where the problems occur, there's other areas that contribute runoff to that location.
Absolutely.
That field up there on Perry Hill Road,
Right.
that
Perry Hill.
goes right down
Sure
to
it
it.
does, yeah.
The wooded lot that we walked through, that the stream, not the stream, but the discharge water ran through, that goes over to the pond. There's like 3 other areas, there's 3 total areas that discharge water to the point where everybody's concerned.
Yeah, so exactly my point. There's a lot more areas that.
But he can't control the offsite.
Correct.
I know, but we'll never fix the problem if we didn't get it from the beginning.
What we can do, though, is what we have to do is match the pre-developed condition from our site, from this site. That's what the obligation of the commission is to see that we match the pre-development runoff rates to the post-development runoff rates for the project that we're working on.
Yeah, I understand
Yeah.
that.
So
Yeah.
pre-construction.
That's all we can do.
That's all you can do.
Control the.
Yeah,
Well, then,
you're
all right,
doing.
so what I'm getting at then is, then we can just continue to get ready for more phone calls. That's it. Because if it's only for that site, or even just the outstanding, if there's more water coming in from somewhere else, it's gonna bring, nobody knows it. It's not like someone's sitting there with a meter that
Then
reads.
there'll have to be an investigation into where that other, some,
So before,
Well, that's what I'm getting at.
we're here, right. But
We need
this-
to,
Yeah.
I need
We're
to
talking about this
define
project
it.
right here.
I know, didn't we already have this, wasn't this already in peer review?
It was.
Did this, all these steps be done before?
This never went to peer, I don't know if this went
It
to
did.
peer
It did.
review.
He said
Oh, I
it
don't
did.
know.
No, I'm saying, this project never came before conservation because there's no wetlands. Okay?
Okay,
So, this project was introduced to us when we took over stormwater from planning.
Right.
okay.
This was approved through planning, through their stormwater. I've never seen an original peer review of the project.
I'm just, to have it done, you
But
would have to go
since
through
then,
the
it's
same
been,
steps.
it has,
Steps, right?
what's that?
To have it okayed, you would have had to go through the same steps.
So since the first incident, when we started discharging water,
Okay,
that's when GAF came in. We reconfigured the site. That was done.
peer reviewed,
That was peer reviewed. Weston and Sampson did that.
okay.
And then we had that going, and then we started, and then we had another incident, so we've redesigned the
Then
site
again.
again. GAF has reviewed that as well. And now that's where we are now. That's where we're trying to line up as-built, existing design approval, and there were slight tweaks, and that's where we're trying to get back so that we can all say where we are.
I'm just concerned that this is just gonna continue to go over and over and over and over and over and over again. If these are the same steps we did before,
It's,
But this commission's view, and correct me if I'm wrong, is to approve my project and say, yes, I've done what I'm supposed to do, you've reviewed it. If it continues, this commission can say, yes, we've proven that what they did is per law and it's been reviewed.
that's why we have Bill
I
Madden
thought it was-
representing the town. He's representing this commission
No,
to go over the plans to make sure that the post-construction runoff matches the pre-existing conditions. If Bill Madden tells me that they do, I'm gonna take his word for it. I've
if
seen
Bill
his
says
work.
they don't, then we're gonna take his word for it.
Right, and he's here right now saying that there needs to be some
I thought it
work
already
done,
went through all
and he's
these-
working on it with them.
Okay, so then why wasn't this caught the last time?
It's besides the point. It was
Yeah,
done
but
through
it-
planning and a totally different stormwater authority. So
Right, and
at this
when,
point, the fresh eyes have it, that's why this peer review.
and why Bill was brought in the first time, or has been on this, was because of the sedimentation runoff issues.
Right. that
So
the
he was,
original, yeah.
he was working on,
In a woefully under-designed original basin.
right, so that the basin has been designed, but now there's just runoff, slight runoff issues that meet the need.
And I'll tell you, one of the reasons why it's dragged out like this, I think, is because we had an approval, and then it didn't rain all summer. And then when we actually start getting rain is when the ground's frozen again now, and then it starts bubbling up. That's why the site has been constructed and open, and everything's been in place since June.
Yeah.
And it hasn't
It
rained.
didn't rain from June until December.
Right, we had a drought
And then
this
the
year.
ground was stuck. Hey, whatever. I just don't feel.
But we are right back where we started with the first. No matter how you look at it, we're back to where we started, right? So with, between Bill and you guys, you gotta, any little thing that Bill finds has to be fixed.
And look, Bill and I talked about this today. I don't think we're that far apart. I agree with a lot of what he's saying. I've been doing this a long time too. I don't like 8-inch low flow orifices. I don't like 6-inch. I tend to go to 3 or 4, but those then open up clogging and other stuff, which we can talk about. I think there are tweaks of structural, how we do this, that can work, and then we just gotta work on curve number.
Right.
So.
Well, I think it's gonna be some big tweaks, my own personal opinion, that's my
that's what I'm
opinion.
getting at,
So,
like-
right?
Yeah, there may be, we don't know, we don't have that as-built information, that as-built information.
That's what I'm
will
saying,
tell
I
us the
think, my own
story.
personal opinion, I think there's gonna be some bigger tweaks, but that's my own opinion, and you guys are gonna find out, Bill's gonna find out, Bill's gonna tell us, hey, listen, this is what we found, this is what he's gonna do. If he don't do it, now you're not in compliance with what Bill's saying, and you know,
And then
it's
I can't
like,
close and then I can't come back and ask for a closure of the order of conditions, or
Right.
COC.
the only thing is, before that land was ever cleared, has that guy ever called the town saying he's been flooded out?
So
Well-
Mr. Walsh bought that property in
Yeah.
2020.
Right.
And when he bought the property in 2020, the next 2 years were 2 of the driest years on record in this town.
Sure.
And then we started building, and then it reverted back to 50-odd inches of rain. So,
And if you look, it was evidence that there was already water going there. That's why but if it's the same, it's the same. I just feel like we're just gonna keep coming back to the same exact thing.
I got confidence in this, because I think once we establish what's on site right now, and make the adjustments, if the runoff curve matches what it's supposed to be, then that's all you can ask for.
Right.
That's what
Pre-existing.
the plan was designed to do in the first place.
correct.
But it has to be built properly too, so.
And if somebody, if somebody is to challenge what was done, I mean, the challenger will have a pretty hefty lift. on
Uphill
that.
battle?
I would think so, because, I'm fully aware of what goes on when you have a dissatisfied person that abuts a project that you're working on. There's no end in sight, no holds are barred, nothing, they go after everything. So I'm viewing this from the perspective is, gotta make sure that nobody has anything on the commission going forward. And that's what my goal is to make sure that the commission is protected, that we get the job done the way it needs to be done. And Steve has committed to doing what needs to be done out there. So we got willing participants on all sides. We just don't know what the precise solution is gonna be. It's likely to be more than one thing.
Yeah.
When are you getting the as-built, Bill?
Well, Steve said he was
Next
gonna
week.
try to get them to us this week, but
Okay.
probably next week for
probably
sure.
next
We'll do.
just to clarify, we internally are targeting Friday to look at everything, make sure it's all right. We'll send out a package. I want to send out a package. One of the things we figured out, I think, in May, was there was a lot going back and forth. We were trying to get ready so we could get the grass growing. We've committed to putting a package in front of Bill. Here's the existing conditions. Here's where we are. Here's a timeline and a narrative of where we're going. Here's our solutions, and give him a nice
With
package
the as-built and everything
with
right in it?
everything in it, so that we have a nice, clean
Put
document
something to Bill will
control.
go with. All right.
So there's no back and forth.
Because right now, no matter how you look at it, right, we look at the site and we say, well, is that grade right? Is that grade right?
Right.
As, commission members, but until Bill gets the as-built, Bill could tell us, hey, that wasn't right grade, or that wasn't, and this could change. So the as-built, I think, going to Bill is gonna help everybody a lot to make sure it was built correctly, and to make it, then we'll see if the design was correct.
Right.
Right? So, pick it apart.
Yeah, I thought it was a good meeting, it was informative, and everybody's willing to work together, and that's good.
I wish I was there.
You could have took my spot. I was driving.
Hey, you gotta remember, I'm gonna retire then.
Well, they're getting their money's worth out of me, right down to the last day.
So this isn't a public hearing, so we don't have to, like, get on the agenda. We should be on the agenda in 2 weeks then, right? That's,
I don't have a meeting until the 12th.
okay.
Well, there's one, you guys have a meeting on the, what,
29th.
29th, but it's a Zoom meeting and
Yeah.
Nothing to do with.
I think it's
yeah.
only one,
Want to leave that to the Lake Street stuff.
So
yeah.
12th of February,
Yes.
then we'll be done by then.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay?
Let's keep it rolling.
I might watch, I might not. I'll probably watch every
You'll be back in here.
No. I'll follow this along. Like I said, it's been, we met under multiple circumstances, but you've been very receptive to my calls, and I appreciate that. It's not like you're dodging us or
Agreed.
anything, we're trying to come to a common goal here, so I have no complaints. Appreciate your receptiveness. All right, so, yeah, then
We'll be back.
report back and.
Did you need it? Okay, good. I gave it to him.
Yeah.
I will send it by email to you tomorrow.
Thank you.
All right.
All right,
Next,
so we all set with us?
Yeah,
Okay.
thanks, Bill.
Have a great evening, guys.
Thank you, gentlemen.
The rest of the day off.
Next order of business under discussion, Weldon Lane, wetland violation, review of matters presented at this meeting. We received an email from, ironically, the New Bedford conservation agent. It was on a hike down Weldon Lane and noticed that there was some construction going on the walking trail, or just off the walking trail.
As well as some destruction as well, right?
Some
Isn't there some?
Yes.
were
Yes,
taken down.
sure.
Yes.
That's where the pallets were?
Yeah.
Yes, some- yeah.
The bridge, the pallet bridge?
Yes, so, yep, there was a couple trees cut down to use as pretty much stringers across the Acushnet River. And, it's right behind the radio. So, yeah, so I had Mark go out there, check it out, and, he ultimately issued a cease and desist to whom we don't,
Remains to be seen.
we don't,
Makes me, I need to get back out there.
we have an idea who the
Yeah.
responsible parties are, but we,
Yeah, right, yeah, because you did post it, right?
So, yeah, ultimately, there were some pallets brought out there, and essentially they were building a bridge across the Acushnet River. The issue is, you can't drop trees into the river. It, prevents, it could,
impedes.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it's
Oh, yeah.
it's a big
Yeah.
diameter
Yeah.
tree, it's
Pretty
probably,
good size. Yeah,
probably
no,
18 inches around.
Oh, yeah, no, that's some good sized stuff.
So, Mark had issued, a cease and desist and put a couple of them out there, so to get somebody's, attention, and I actually went out there afterwards, and I had removed the pallets from the river and stacked them neatly up against a tree with the cease and desist, holding it in place so it didn't blow away. I haven't been out there since, but, I'm sure I will make my way out there. I don't know what,
So where is exactly this location, Ryan?
so if you go down the bottom of Weldon Lane,
Yeah.
walk
park
down
there.
through the power lines, and you come down to the power lines and you head towards the Acushnet River. On the left-hand side, there's a trailhead. You follow that down, there's the old cotton mill that was down there.
Yep.
Behind the cotton mill is another trail, and off of that trail is where the river crosses behind the cotton mill, and that's where the,
I think it's a deep brook is joining
Oh,
yeah,
Acushnet
it's
River
second-
right in there
Yeah,
somewhere.
sure.
yeah, so
Might
just,
be a little
just
further up.
just to the west of that,
Yeah.
is where Deep Brook joins the Acushnet River, and then it kind of branches off around a little island there. So this made it from one of the little tributaries to the center and not across to the other side, which would be Keith's Fairhaven. It's kind of all four properties meet together. That's kind of where it was headed. I reached out to Cora at Fairhaven Acushnet Land Trust, because actually, this isn't on our land, is what I determined. This is behind the town's land. Essentially, this is on Fairhaven Acushnet Land Trust land. So I wanted to inform her, but we did issue obviously a cease and desist because you can't be doing any construction or destruction or demolition or tree cutting
Anything.
in a river area without permitting. And this, I mean, I assume it was kids, I hope, but there was a truck observed driving down with pallets in the back, and that's how the pallets got down there. So, well, this is just, I guess, being monitored. I figured we could let Cora know, because again, that is the land trust property. She's gonna keep her eyes peeled, trail cameras, try to catch anybody in the eye. So, I guess that's kinda all I got for an update on it.
Yeah, and I've been thinking to try to go back out there and just see if they actually stop or if it's continuing.
Yeah,
But there were pallets when you walked off the right-of-way, the Eversource right-of-way, you go onto this trailhead. There were a whole bunch of other, like, pallets that had already been stacked in there. Somebody was busy hauling those in there, so it
yeah.
makes you wonder if
And
they're gonna
before,
cease.
and before we were notified, probably about 2 weeks prior, I was down there hunting, and I saw 3 pallets at the trailhead. And I mentioned that to Mark. I was like, oh, I saw 3 pallets there. And he's like, oh no, there's more than 3 pallets there. And there was, when we went there was about 15 at the trailhead. So there was some trips made, I talked to the abutters at the end of Weldon Lane. They're gonna, there's a lot of eyes on it now, but,
It's a cool spot.
It is a cool
Really
spot.
cool
Yeah,
spot.
And it's good because what I think is important is all the land around the river to be in conservation restrictions in one form or fashion, whether it be the town, the land trust, Buzzards Bay Coalition, whatever it may be. I like that artery of town being undeveloped and left as
Protected.
nice and protected. So, but with Keats being the land trust now, the other side being Fairhaven Acushnet Land Trust, up into our portion that's conservation or historic or whatever, I think it is a nice spot. There's a lot of area there for open space. What do you got?
Nothing, I just feel, I don't know, there's pros and cons to this battle, and I don't know if we really want to battle it.
What battle?
It's just, you got pros and cons to the whole situation, I'm not saying I'm in agreement with anything, it's a tricky battle to choose, We're not gonna stop it, I'll tell you that right now. They're not gonna stop. It's either they're gonna drive through it and have oil all over their bikes and drive through the river.
Eric, there's no way a bike could go on it. At this point, the pallet was this wide. It wasn't for a bike.
What, dirt bike can't go down there?
Oh.
I used to ride down dirt bikes, trails.
I don't know, man. I took it apart. It wasn't constructed very well. If you're gonna ride a dirt bike on that,
I don't think you're
Going
gonna
back to
cross
what
on
we
a
were
dirt
saying
bike.
for kids, if I could just continue and finish, I just want to be, I would feel it would be an idea to just not go too heavy on it and make things escalate. Because you know how young kids are when things happen and the next thing you know, the building's getting...
I get it. Honestly, in all honesty, I would rather the kids go through it with their dirt bikes, yes.
So then
But
they
cutting
get
down
stuck
trees,
and then...
blocking off the Acushnet River with trees that diameter and diverting it and then everything floating down and getting caught on it and creating a dam, yes, that's more of an issue.
I understand.
So yes,
I
would say
understand what you're
that
getting at, but if you continue to walk down the
kids have
river...
been riding dirt bikes in this town for years and years and years.
Even those old guys.
This is why I wasn't trying to talk. This is why I wasn't... No, it's not. There's no reason for it. Let's stop.
Okay.
There's no reason for an argument. We're on camera.
I say catch me if you can when it comes to dirt bikes. Good luck, guys. All right, Chairman Ryan Resendes resignation.
I was in it too soon.
It's been a...
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you guys can vote on that.
Yeah.
No, it's been a pleasure serving with you guys.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, it's really sorry that you're leaving. I think you've been a huge asset to
big shoes
this
to fill.
Conservation Commission.
I appreciate it.
I wish you were sticking around more, because I enjoy learning from you. I think it's gonna be a hard pair of shoes to fill.
Yeah.
And, but I guess Heidi can fit them.
Gonna slide right in,
Stop saying
right
that.
into
You like
those.
the way that I did that, didn't you, Heidi?
No.
Try on his boots, go ahead.
Yeah.
No, you guys got my number, you know, advice, whatever, give me a shout.
He told me he was changing it tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'll
Getting
still,
a burner phone.
I'll still be around.
So now is
You
your
guys know-
emails going to Mark or?
I don't know, I imagine my email would be deactivated, so.
I sent something to Nick asking, oftentimes official business emails, they get archived.
Yeah.
You know, it just, I don't know what.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have any, I mean, I've noticed that Joanne's done a good job since Mark's been here to let anybody know, like, hey,
Yeah.
here's the agent's contact, so.
Thank you,
that,
Joanne. I noticed that too.
Yeah.
It's been really good.
So I really, any emails I get really are just from Joanne, Mark, or like I got one from Bill. But Bill's aware that, you know, I'm leaving, so, I mean, yeah. Yeah, I guess my advice to the commission would just, or in future commissioners, just be fair and try to be reasonable. This is a crappy process, nobody wants to deal with conservation.
No.
I tried to make it respectable and fun and be reasonable and just it's a process that nobody wants to go through, but just try to guide people through it as best as possible. Not every situation's good, so, you know, deal with it as they come. That's my best advice.
All right, Heidi, take notes.
Okay, next, the commission is seeking applicants to join the Conservation Commission. I've been informed by Chairman Bob Hinckley. There's been 3 letter of interest submitted.
Nice.
So that will be, stay tuned to the selectmen's agenda. That will be on their agenda at a future business.
Good deal.
Is that imminent, do you know? Is there a time frame
Uh,
that they're gonna,
You will have 2 appointed members on the 21st.
Nice.
thank you.
There you go. Full commission,
Wow.
just like that, easily replaced.
I'm sorry I cut it so close.
Oh, that's good. No, we need, you know, people got trips, people got the winter off, whatever. Agent updates.
So there, a couple quick things. I was out at Borrego Solar yesterday. I haven't been able to get any response from the contractor. Borrego is now New Leaf, and they sold it to contractor, I've got the name, sorry, I don't.
Just so everyone knows, this is the Girl Scouts he's talking about.
Oh,
the Girl
the
Scouts.
Mendel.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mendel
Yep,
Road.
right off of Mendel
Yeah.
Road, the Girl
What's going on
Scouts.
Yeah.
Well, the plan is, they're gonna clear
Yeah.
most
A
of
lot.
most of the property.
20 acres.
Yeah.
It's given some of the stuff that we've been talking about, I'm trying to make sure to the extent we can, just stay on top of it. I hadn't heard anything back from the folks, so I gotta follow up. One thing, there's no sign up, there's no DEP
No
sign, so
file
I'm gonna,
number or anything.
no, so I'm gonna follow up and tell them I was on the site. I was just worried that they had started.
Yep.
Is there any evidence of anything going on there?
No, they haven't.
No, and any time that people want to go, I walked past the old, like it was a mess hall or something, the Girl
Yeah.
Scouts, and then I played some shuffleboard for a little, no, I'm sorry. I went on in, I probably went a couple hundred yards. There's no evidence, the litter, the leaf litter and branches on the road in, nobody's driven in. I mean, there's no equipment, and I didn't see any, and it doesn't look like there's been any in there, but
I mean, I live close by too, and I go by there a lot, and same thing, I haven't seen no vehicles go in there.
Are you still there?
The building's still there, yeah. And
you got the
I've actually
shuffleboard.
walked it through the backside just to go on a hike with my granddaughter, and I thought that I was gonna see clearing. This was before Mark even set it up, and there ain't nothing going on the property at all. The one thing I have is, like, I know they show a lot of erosion control, silt fences. Does that have to go in prior to cutting down all the trees and stuff?
Yes.
So,
And flagging, I was looking for flagging. I didn't look that hard, I was more
nothing's
like,
flagged.
yeah, I didn't
I
see
walked
it.
through it with my granddaughter, there's not one flag up there on the wetlands. So they do have it on the blueprints, but it is not in the field.
Okay. So part of your pre-construction meeting, you know, like, well, before they start, but they're, you know, obviously the flag should be there, that way the equipment operators know not to, you know.
Yeah.
Get next to it, per se, yeah.
Yeah, the road in, they're gonna widen that and make it into an access road. And that goes through some wetlands right there, and you can see on their plans. I was curious, I didn't see replication, I don't know how much
The other thing I
wetland
didn't see
they're
is
gonna
it-
destroy doing that, but I gotta double check and make sure that they've got some replication. They
on the
should.
prints neither, I didn't see no culvert or anything tying that back together neither. So unless they're gonna do away with it and a replication, but
And and that one, you all know better than I, but that one's been out there for a while.
It has,
Yeah.
hasn't it?
Yeah,
Exactly,
and
no, same thing,
And this
2020.
this was approved, this project, and ready to go?
way before we got here.
Yeah, prior to our
we went
Yeah,
and
really?
something was
participation.
going on.
They
They
had
had
a
a
problem,
problem or
asked for an
something.
extension,
Yes,
and then you gentlemen and ladies denied it,
Yes.
and then they came back for reconsideration.
right.
Where was this, how do we obtain this information that it has to be silt fenced before you take down the trees?
it's in the, you can read the orders, the forms, orders of condition.
Oh,
okay.
I mean, it's several places, I
Right.
can't cite the
Mhm.
specific, but trying to memorize the regs and that, I'm getting where, I don't quite have it memorized, but I
That's
know
why I'm
I've seen
always
it.
asking too, because it's so confusing, you get so many different,
But as Ryan was just saying, there's, the commission, you know, we can ask for a pre-construction meeting. And given, I haven't heard anything from them and seeing some of these nightmare stories that, you know, it's almost like a lessons learned. It's like, let's avoid to the extent I can. I don't want to be remembered
yeah,
at
because
any point in time as the agent that
We don't want another
that
Navison either.
flooded out.
Right, botched it?
Right.
That
Yeah,
botched it. thank
yeah,
you.
right.
We don't want another Navison.
Right. So is there an expiration on this project?
It's 27, is it 27?
Is it?
I should have brought
The
that file down.
Yeah,
I think we extended it from, because it was 2020, right, the end
Is
of
it
December 2020, so
26?
that was 2023.
23.
So
I think they got a
26.
3-year
26.
It is
extension.
June
Next year.
26.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
There was interconnection problems there. I don't know.
Yeah, I was surprised to see those.
There's some elevation change,
Huge elevation change.
and you know, on the back side, it's running, everything's running right down into Tinkham Brook right there, so they definitely, and most of the arrays look like they're up front on the property, but same time, it's got some potential to,
Yeah.
One of those new houses. too.
What's the total clear cut over there, do we
The
know?
other way.
it's around 20, 28.
20 acres?
That's what I recall, when it was originally discussed. I think that even came up at town meeting at one point.
it wasn't peer reviewed, that's another thing that raised some, I don't think it was peer reviewed.
That was approved when planning had
Yeah.
stormwater, so I'm not privy to any of that stuff. It must be in the file, I would imagine, but
I'll double check with them.
you'd have to.
So Ryan, let me ask you something. If nothing goes on there and this comes up and it expires,
I doubt it will expire.
Yeah.
yeah,
They'll come before you guys for an extension, or any of these solar projects, for that matter, will come back for an extension, because you have to show that you've been doing work, but all the permitting and waiting on interconnection and all this other stuff shows that they're trying to do it, but they're prevented from doing it because of that, is my interpretation of what goes on. There's a lot, the grid simply can't handle all this power.
No, not yet.
No, yeah, they're in the process of
Right,
upgrading.
that's what's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just my personal opinion. I hate to see 20
Oh, no,
plus acres get
I'm
clear
right
cut.
there with you.
It's a
I
pretty-
guess it's
I don't-
the
No,
drive.
no, there was a lot of discussion on that
Sad,
property about that.
right?
So-
It's a pretty, it's a
I
nice.
know it is, and I heard there's some pretty old growth on that on that.
The other
on that
thing,
property. Yeah, there
uh,
is. Yep, I've heard there's extremely old growth on that property.
Yeah, I lost my train of thought, but yeah, so keep your eyes peeled on it, and
Someday.
have them reach out to you. Mark can send
No,
emails.
that's, yeah.
Anything else, Mark?
This came up, I think, and I'm looking into it, it's, I know I know there's a couple folks that have taken down split rail fences apparently that were part of orders of conditions. I think it's certificate of compliance have been issued. I'm pretty sure that you're still bound by whatever's in your orders of conditions, even once you get.
I would think.
But, so, I'm gonna look into that, but once I find that out, I might reach out to a couple properties and just say, hey, notice that, that you've taken down split rail fence, or can you put it back up?
Yep.
It's there for a reason, it's to, I don't know.
Delineation, it's a visual
Yeah,
delineation.
that's right, it's for
But it-
delineation.
Oh, and I know the last thing I wanted to bring.
But if they had it in the order of conditions, they have to keep it.
Yeah.
Did you go by mine?
What?
Did you go by mine?
Do you have a split rail fence?
No, I have stones all the way down that side.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, do you have it on your order of condition?
It was on, no, I'm saying old, the old one. It was old delineations that just it didn't matter at the end of the day anyway.
But if you put yours up voluntarily, that's a smart thing. If it was an order of condition and you put it, then it's a good thing.
You're not getting
What do you got, Mark?
The last thing I wanted to remind folks, I didn't mean to print all this. I was gonna hand you, so this MACC, their environmental conference is coming up at Holy Cross.
Holy Cross,
Right, Worcester.
Yeah, so if people are
right.
interested, we're gonna
Yeah, we should go.
obviously.
Carload, let's do it. Road trip.
So I'll try to send it to everybody. There's a schedule of classes, so we
Yeah.
should register sooner.
Yeah.
And I don't know how we're gonna handle that, because the
Right.
registration fee, but you might have to reach out individually. I'm gonna talk to MACC.
I know Joanne last
Joanne's
time took
done
care
it.
of it for us.
Yeah,
You just
but
hopped
if
in
you
the
wanna
car and
pick
went?
Because I didn't have an agent. No, I'll be glad to help. I can reach out to MACC.
Those were the good old
And,
days. That's how she keeps referring to that.
Well, we'd
No,
appreciate it, Joanne, if you did that.
If you give me a list of what you want to attend.
I'll swing by tomorrow.
asks What classes you want to take. I've got one
Actually,
more
this is-
fundamental to
there's some
do,
schedule.
but there's a couple classes I have
Anybody
to
else
like
wanna
take.
look at
No.
It's done.
So.
Anybody else want to look at it?
Ryan doesn't need one.
Nope.
Saturday,
Good.
March 1st.
But yeah, so there's some
And
good,
now if you wanna take extras, that's something,
of course, that needs to.
Yeah, no, that actually is good.
Anybody get
I
one?
didn't do it all, but
Sure.
it was last year. I'm just
Yeah.
things that I like.
so they'll pay for it.
Which
right?
one did we take last year?
Tell me.
I did the fundamentals.
You were with us?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did the fundamentals last year.
But I've been going for years and I never finished that.
All right,
So it's just-
you guys,
That's all I've got.
I wanna get this moving along.
That's
Sorry.
all I've
Yeah,
got.
keep going.
So I just wanted to bring that up. We gotta reach out and get folks registered.
Yep.
All right. No other business for the commission, anybody, none? Future business, the next meeting of the Conservation Commission will be on January 29th, 2025, held for the continuation of the notice of intent filed for Lake Street. Future meeting, actual normal meeting, will be February 12th, 2025. Meeting is held at the Town Hall Meeting Room located at 122 Main Street, Cushing, Mass. Last order of business, executive session. Executive session under General Law, Chapter 30A, subsection 21A3, to discuss a strategy with respect to pending litigation, Moses Lane Solar 1 LLC. If an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the litigating position of the public body, and the chair so declares, and the commission will not return to public session at the conclusion of executive session. Also, executive session under General Law, Chapter 30A, subsection 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to pending litigation, Sincarfa Park Drive LLC. If an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the litigating position of the public body, and the chair so declares, and the commission will not return to public session at the conclusion of executive session, votes may be taken. I will entertain a motion to enter executive session.
Motion.
Second?
All right, there's a motion and a second, roll call vote, all those in favor?
Aye.
Roll call vote.
Douglas Thomas?
James Souza.
Heidi Pelletier.
Ryan Resendes,
Eric Naros.
Christian D'Souza.
and that's unanimous. We are now in executive session.